Hey y'all, I'm Alex with ALX Rods, and in almost 20 years of building and selling bass fishing rods, we've had a lot of experience working as a pro shop, helping our customers figure out what the right rods are for what they're doing on the water today. And with that, we see a lot of trends as to what rods sell well during certain times of year and how are anglers using those rods and what techniques are they focusing on. August is a super hot month, so one of the big things about August is there are what we call bite windows on the water, typically early morning, just before dark. Then the fish will sometimes cycle midday, but you're going to have to change up and use some different techniques to be able to take advantage of that kind of midday type window. Most of the time, one of the big things that we do see used in August, frogs. Frogs are a huge technique that we see used. They elicit a big bite. They typically bring in good fish, and they're gonna make sure that you maximize that early morning time on the water, but you're also gonna be able to coax those fish out of their hiding points. In August, you've got fish, they're hiding out. They're hiding under shade, they're hiding under docks, they're hiding under grass mats. Frogs get in there. They work between the lily pads. They work around your grass mats or on top of your grass mat edges. They really get in there and really they can just do some things and pull those fish out that other baits you just can't do. Now, frogs really break into a couple different classes. You've got your hollow body and you've got your buzz toad type frogs. So with that, either way, we really love the ALX Rods Zolo Toad Face. This is in a full grip version that we have available stock. And the Toad Face is an absolutely great, what we call a finesse frogging rod. In other words, it's got a tip on it that lets you work that frog. Great working between pads, great working around mat edges, great working in holes in mats. Now, if you need a slop frog, you're trying to pull those fish out of just matted hydrilla, we really recommend something more like the ALX Rods Hammer 73. It's just a broomstick type rod that's really going to winch those fish with a ton of grass out of that cover. So it just kind of depends on your scenario there. The second most popular technique that we see used in August, it's gonna come back to finesse, guys. It's those fish that have pulled off, they're hanging out deep, they're hanging in brush, they're looking for shade down deep, they're hanging around that thermocline and making sure that you know they're in that well oxygenated water. We're going to use things at that point like your Dropshot, your Ned rigs, things like that, and something like the Oxum Drop Top, perfect rod. It'll do dual duty on both of those. It'll do both Neds and it'll do a Dropshot really, really well. We do have some other dedicated Dropshot rods like the Enoch Charmer and the Zolo Diplomat, both great Dropshot rods. I don't recommend them as much for Neds. I really like the drop top for being able to do both. So it is a really good option in August. That drop shot is hot. It's slower. You're going after those more lethargic fish that have kind of slowed down and just really gives you that extra time down in the deeper water column to be able to focus on those fish. Another big technique that we see used in August across the board are deep cranks, your 10XDs, you even get down to your 6 and 8XDs, but those 10XDs, that type of stuff, really big. It's focusing on those fish that have pulled off the bank early in the morning. They're now focusing on ledges, they're focusing on deep brush, deep points, deep rock, areas that they just kind of go and hang out during the day. And typically you can find some very good, remember I talked about those bite windows will flare up during the day with that deep cranking where you can get out there and find those fish that have been kind of just chilling out all day and now they're ready to feed again. Best rods for that, your Zolo Powerbolt, your Icos Thunder. Absolutely great rods for that because they both have a moderate fast action, they're carbon fiber, have a lot of feel, they're longer. We also have the Icos Diver. Now it is an old school fiberglass cranking rod. It's big, it's long, it's heavy. But if you want that super buttery smooth, just, you know, really nice, just smooth deep bend in a rod when you're fishing a deep crank, you can't beat the Icos Diver. It will deliver exactly what you're looking for. A lot of customers are looking for a lighter rod, something that's easier to use, something that's a little bit longer. And that's again where that Icos Thunder or that Icos Powerbolt come in. Good news, both of those can also be used for other techniques throughout the year. So when you're not throwing that deep crank, you can throw it for your A-rigs and a couple other different things, other points of the year. So that kind of sums up with August. We're keying in on bite windows. We're looking for where the fish are in those feeding cycles that they're on. We're going into things like frogs, drop shots, and deep cranks. We're looking at August. Again, we like to work as your pro shop. Make sure that you're suited up with the right equipment, the right rods for what you're going to be doing on the water this weekend. Let's make sure you've got the confidence in your gear so you can go out there and worry about finding fish. So give us a call. Look forward to talking to you. Let us help you out and talk to you soon. Good luck on the water.